Well, good afternoon. Actually, I didn't know I was going to come up and get to say good morning or good afternoon to everyone, but I'm really excited to be here. Myself and the Imam spoke a while ago, and he invited me to come out and see the Masjid and get to meet some folks. I didn't think it was going to be quite this formal, but I really am glad to be here. A little bit about myself. I'm actually a task force officer with the FBI, but I work over at the University of Central Florida. So the way the FBI works, they bring in a whole bunch of local folks, and we all work together so that way we can deal with community issues. So as far as the FBI, we do all kinds of stuff. We investigate, things such as drugs, sex trafficking, you name it. So it's not just about human issues or what you think of as terrorism or not terrorism. It's pretty much a whole host of things. Bank robberies, all that kind of good stuff. And I don't know what else you want me to talk about, so I was a little surprised. I really was just going to say hi. So
you're welcome. You're welcome.
But I'll tell you one of the first things when I met the Imam, the main thing he talked about was love, which I really liked the message. So it was nice to hear him talk about. He wasn't talking about a religion or a belief or a people or a society, whether it was Islam or Christian. He was talking about love. So I think that's a pretty cool message to hear from a religious leader. And so I'm glad to consider myself hopefully one of his friends in the future. And we met not too long ago. And, I'm really glad to be here. So if you have any questions for me or just want to say hi, my name's Dave or David. That's usually what I go by. That's what my mom named me. So that's usually what everyone calls me. So if you have any questions, I'm glad to share.
If you have any question from us.
Not too much. I mean, I'm still learning, so I think it's hard for me to ask a question. What I notice is there's a lot of concerns in the community, and I think part of it is everyone just needs to work together and talk to each other, because we need to talk like people and not worry about what our religions are, what our beliefs are, what countries we came from. I can tell you from my standpoint, I have family and we have friends from all over the world and country. I mean, we have people who are like, please come to Egypt. We'll show you, everything. We'll be your personal tour guide. So I think really, my main question is really just, talk to people. I think the best thing we can do is sit down, break bread, and really just chit chat. Because I think sometimes we get so worried about trying to be one thing, and trying to present ourselves, where maybe if we just talk like people and don't worry about it. Because, I'm interested in Islam. I've known folks from Turkey, from all over the world. And, I think people are just people.
On behalf of my community, I can convey this message that being a Muslim, we are as patriotic as anybody else, and we all came from the different part of the world, but we believe and we feel that this is our land, this is our country, this is our future, and our generation will come to this land, and we will die on this land, and we will protect and defend this nation as anybody else, and government or agency should feel that we are part of the nation, not a stranger, not terrorist. One person act should not be considered as a behalf of a religion. Our religion, our belief does not preach or order to kill or cut the trees even. So we are part of the community, and we are here to support our agencies in every aspect. If they need our help, please feel free to contact us, to come to us. We are here to defend our country as like anybody else, and we are part of the mission.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's really nice. And just know we're a nation of immigrants. I'm an Italian American, so 2 generations ago, my family just got here also. So it's not like a lot of us are any different. I mean, I work in a pretty diverse office. We have a lady who's from she's of Honduran descent, so I think she was actually born overseas. But so, I mean, the FBI is made up of a whole bunch of different folks also, and I do appreciate you saying that, because, I mean, I really just think as a community we have to work with, law enforcement, the community out there, and really get a better understanding, because I think there's a little paranoia on both sides. I think from talking to folks, who feel like the government targets them. And I don't think that's what happens, but I believe that will be a perception. And you know, it's kind of hard to do our job, to be honest. We try to really respect people's privacy and needs and be very respectful, because I've gone out and interviewed folks. And it's like anything, you know, if your neighbor calls up and says your dog barks too loud, the police have got to go talk to someone, right? And it's the same with us. Someone says, oh, I have a concern about someone, so we go out and talk to people, whether it's on the domestic side, you know, talking about like groups like the Ku Klux Klan or anybody or any criminal offense, and we just usually go out and talk to folks. I've had, you know, I've interviewed a number of folks related to possible threats, and they want to be the nicest people I've ever met. And we wind up chit-chatting and go our ways, and hopefully I learn something from them, and they walk away with a pretty positive experience. That's what I've tried to do. So I do appreciate you saying that, you know, I know it's your country. I mean, I don't know where everyone's from, if you guys were born here or from overseas, but, you know, I'm glad everyone's here. I mean, that's what makes our country great, is diversity. So, you know, and honestly, if you guys would be willing, I mean, I'd like to have lunch or something with a number of folks and maybe learn a little more culturally, because it's not only religious culture, but it's also the communities or cultures where countries where someone came from. And so I'm always willing.
Anyone else, any other questions?
Yes. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
The Muslims in this country for a long time,
Yes.
and since there is people fear of something going on in Muslim community, the sitting president, his comment before that Muslim has a problem. So we want to share. We are part of this community. We are American.
Yep.
You are uniformed. We are not uniformed, but we are defending this country from generations. So, you know, if any changes of policies, you can come and talk to Imam or us. We will be, you know, with you. I mean, we are here.
Okay, I would say there's been no change of policies from the way we do business. There's no, you know, and I'll just tell you, there's no sweeping changes or anything. I've not seen anything. There's been no information coming down from any changes or anything with the new president.
Since he is not coming out and telling the Muslim community to calm it down like the George Bush did,
Yeah.
that's why we still fear is going around and it's not going away. And
Well, I will say one thing. One of the things that I learned the most, because I came over to the FBI from the local law enforcement side, from like the state side, and the one thing that the FBI gave us a lot of training on was we want to make sure to respect people's freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, and their constitutional rights. That was pretty much the number one. I mean, there's other legal training that you go to, and they teach you how to do processes and procedures, but probably the most important thing that stuck in my head was how much the FBI said we want to respect people's rights and really respect that, the right to assembly, and not interfere with that. That was one of the biggest things I got out of it. So, and no one told me that, but we go through a lot of, you know, no one told me directly. A lot of online training that says, you know, we really want to make sure you respect that. And everyone I work with, that's just seems to be part of the culture. So the thing that I've noticed is on TV, you know, they have all this stuff. They show that the FBI does and everyone else does. That's not reality. It's very methodical, very, you know, can we even do this? Let's make sure, let's talk with an attorney, you know, our internal attorneys. So I will tell you, as far as the Bureau, very, very respectful of everyone's rights and trying to be respectful. That's been my experience in Orlando. I can't say how anyone else does it, but based upon the professional training they provide and the edicts that come on down to me, that's the way we run business.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I got one question.
Yes.
Thank you for coming. I got one thing though. As the brother said, we all American, we all have a constitutional right to practice our religion freely. The thing bothers me, whenever something happens, it comes to the nature of respect.
Yes.
We respect the law enforcement, they respect us. So whatever, and as you all know, terrorism has one religion, even though sometimes the Muslim take a blame for it. And we all know a real Muslim never can be a terrorist. So all I see, whenever something happens, why our imam or why the FBI law enforcement talking with the Christian first and interview them? So sometimes I feel like we don't trust each other. So we have to build the trust between our Muslim community and the law enforcement. It's going to be both-handed. And I'm involved here, and I saw we try, our imam, he tries all the time, but at the same time, we have to respect each other and trust. Sometimes I feel like our law enforcement, they don't have the total trust on us. So until we can build that relationship and the trust me, sometimes we have fear. We don't have to be in fear. Policy change, this change, there's a constitution. Okay? I'm not worried. The only thing, because you're here, I'm very glad you're connected with FBI. Please, we have to build the relationship and the respect. Whenever something happens, we have to take it from our brain. Muslim is only got involved. That's not the case. We see there's, let's say, religion has no, the terrorists have no religion. So if you guys take that into consideration, that whenever something happens, please don't just blindly interview our imam or go to our masjid and find out who is involved or not. That's my humble request, that you guys can have open mind for us. Because we all part of America, it doesn't matter where I'm from. So that's the way I want to be treated. I want to be treated with respect, because this is my country now. Okay? So please, if you can relay a message to the community or law enforcement, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Inshallah, Jazakumullah khair. Inshallah, just inshallah, after Salat, Officer will be outside. If you have any questions, you can ask. And then inshallah, meet him, talk to him, inshallah. Inshallah, we'll get ready for our Salat.
Thank you very much.